So Hee Jin won for now. But what about all the harm caused to other Hybe groups? Today we're going to be discussing the highlights from Hee Jin's newest press conference and the aftermath. So if you're interested, please keep on watching this episode of K-pop Investigations, where we basically take a specific subject and do a little bit of a deep dive into it. So I believe this would be part 5 if we don't include all the little updates that I've done in random videos. But though a lot of people think this is the end, it doesn't seem like it is? Question mark? Because yes, Hee Jin did win her injunction, but Hybe has very clearly stated that that is not going to be the end of it. So let's tackle all these newest updates, including the court's ruling. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. Subscribe, and please check out my link tree for important links on how to help, educational links as well, all of that jazz. So, the courts did rule in Hee Jin's favor, which meant that at the shareholders meeting that was held on May 31st, that Hybe would not be able to exercise their voting rights to dismiss her from her position. Now, this is because the courts found, and we did talk about this in a previous video, the reason for Hee Jin's dismissal or resignation claimed by Hybe have not been sufficiently substantiated. While Hee Jin's actions may be considered betrayal to Hybe, it is difficult to say that they constitute actions of breach of trust in regards to Ador. So Hee Jin's position was safe. Hybe would not be able to dismiss her, despite the fact that they very much wanted to do so. In fact, have publicly asked her to step down from her position. It seems, however, that some of her colleagues were not so safe in that regard. Even after Hee Jin's lawyer released a statement basically saying that it would be unlawful for Hybe to dismiss Hee Jin, of course, where Hybe would have to pay $14.6 million if they did so. But he also said it would go against the shareholders' agreement if Hybe dismissed Ador's employees. So here's the lengthy statement in question. But if we go more near the end, if Hybe takes actions to terminate Hee Jin and Ador's executives, it would be a clear violation of the shareholders' agreement. The reasoning for this is if there's no grounds to terminate Hee Jin's position, then there's no reason to terminate the executives either. Therefore, if Hybe were to terminate them, this would mean that Hybe has ignored the court's ruling and has terminated them without just cause. But her lawyer is basically saying if you have no grounds to fire her, you should have no grounds to fire them either. With Hybe, of course, feeling quite differently about that. Hybe officially dismisses both of Ador's CEO Hee Jin's closest supporters, replaced with 3 Hybe C-suites. So when the news came out that Hee Jin won her injunction, a lot of people were celebrating, but there were a lot of people also saying like, Hybe's not just gonna let that go very easily. Sure, they can't fire her, but they're gonna do everything in their power so that Hybe can have more control. But I want to ask you, if you were Hybe, would you do the same? Would you want to have more control in a company that you believe tried to betray you? So of course the CEO did hold a press conference, and a lot of people noted how different she looked between the two. So in the first press conference, we can see she looked quite sad. She had a baseball cap on, a large t-shirt. There was a lot of tears. However, in this newest one, she looks quite fresh and put together. She's wearing some heels and overall quite a happy demeanor at the fact that she won her injunction. So with that, let's take a look at some highlights from this press conference. So in regards to whether or not she still thinks that ILLIT plagiarized NewJeans, here's her response. I am a consistent person. There isn't any reason why I would suddenly change my mind. But like I said before, I don't want to talk about members anymore because the more I talk about it, the more uncomfortable they will be. So this, of course, is in reference to ILLIT. So then she's asked if she would continue to bring up issues to the company. As for bringing up issues, I think that it is always necessary to have certain issues called out in a healthy way. And the court has acknowledged this was necessary. So if there is another reason for me to bring something up, I will. So she's basically saying that just because she wants to reach an agreement, some type of agreement with Hybe, doesn't mean that her position has changed. Here's some comments from some K netizens, mostly praising her, especially for the fact that she herself didn't bring up ILLIT, but rather the journalists are bringing up ILLIT. Well said. If you feel unjustly called out, meet me in the ring. Hee Jin fighting. Hee Jin did not bring up ILLIT herself today. Every time a question about ILLIT came up, she stated she didn't want to mention them. When asked, 1, if she still thinks ILLIT is plagiarizing, and 2, if she would protest again if another issue arises, she said her opinion hasn't changed, but she doesn't want to discuss the group. For the second question, she said she would protest if necessary. The headlines made it seem like she brought it up herself. That's true. Hybe should deeply reflect on the fact that they themselves made up this copycat image for their young idols, and that person who posted that FU photo too. The reporters were really pushing their questions. But what she said was true. Copy lit ILLIT disband. Unrelated to the main topic, as an older fan who doesn't really know much about today's idols, I thought ILLIT songs were NewJeans. At work, the new hires were listening to NewJeans, so I assumed they were also NewJeans, but they told me they weren't. And when they showed me pictures of ILLIT, anyone could tell that they were a copy. Even if NewJeans just passed by on TV, their long hair was memorable, and these girls also have long hair. It made me think that they even copy others' images like this now. This is just the composure of a winner. Just try to stir things up again. It will only make ILLIT look cheap. So in terms of the journalists bringing up other groups themselves, it did happen again. A reporter asked her, I think there are other idol groups that have been hurt by this. There have been allegations about BTS being part of a certain cult, and there are parts where ILLIT and Sserafim have been hurt too. Is there anything you would like to say to them? She starts off by bringing up that NewJeans were also hurt by this. Everyone has been hurt by this incident. I'm human too. One person on our team said something that stood out to me. I think that people think that Hee Jin is not human. This is how they said it. And I am human too, and everyone else is too. And all the members are human too. So then we really see through her answer her reluctance to mention other groups like she said. So instead of specifying someone and saying to them, honestly, the reporters too, in order to avoid hurting everyone, we need to stop talking about this. If you think about them, I hope you don't mention them anymore. Regardless of what it is, compromise is needed in order to erase the wounds. We need to talk it out and come up with a way to solve this. There are some people who think it's inappropriate that she brought up NewJeans, particularly in response to a question about how ILLIT in particular, BTS in particular, and Sserafim in particular were hurt by this, to kind of see that question and be like, oh, but NewJeans suffered from this. I know there was backlash towards that. However, there are some people who think that this question should have been asked towards Hybe instead. The level of trash journalists. Why not ask this to Bang Si-hyuk instead? Ugh. So is Min to blame for Downworld? Is Min to blame if Le and Lit are talentless? That's what I've been saying. These journalist questions are just so... That's why they are called trash journalists. Seriously, I'm in awe with her answers. Journalists should just stop mentioning it. Same goes for Hybe. All this would have been avoided if Bang Si-hyuk and Hybe Ajishis never started anything. Go ask Bang Si-hyuk instead. Hybe is the one using their idols as shields though. Should ask the party who copied her instead. So then there's this other headline making the rounds that she said, I hope NewJeans lives the life they want after 7 years. They shouldn't renew for the company's profit. But essentially her vision for NewJeans 7 years in the future is that she wants them and herself to just be able to live happily. These girls joined because they wanted to be celebrities and artists without fully understanding what it entails. Drawn by the appeal of a big company, they entered the industry without knowing the system. The key is how we teach, guide, and shape them as individuals. She goes on to say that she's constantly telling the members that their time together during this contract is a learning experience. They should use these 7 years to study and prepare for a future where they can sustain themselves. When they grow up, they will want to pursue their own paths. They need to practice independence to be able to make choices later on. If I keep spoon feeding them, how will they manage on their own later? So then here's where the headline was taken. Re-signing contracts for the company's profit is detrimental. The vision might be unprecedented in the K-pop industry. The members and their parents might find my vision interesting and fun. I dislike the stagnation in the K-pop scene. It needs variety. If we stick to our style while other styles become popular, it keeps things exciting. This diversity is what makes it fun. By succeeding financially with such an approach, we can become a good business role model. So it seems some of the comments are saying, you know, she's so cool. I learned a lot from her. As expected, she's the bigger person. When I read that headline, I was like, oh my god, like if I was Hybe, like listening to this, I'd be like, what are you saying? What do you mean NewJeans don't need to resign? Reading some of the international stands comments, they're basically saying she'll drop them after 7 years because then they'll be too old for her. She knows she'll drop them at the moment they become too old for her after 7 years. DiCaprio kind of old, so 25. But on the note of being able to make decisions, she talked about her relationship with NewJeans and their parents. Basically how she was able to endure it because of their support. They called me every day to check up on me in case I made any extreme choices. Honestly, in the entertainment industry, there shouldn't be any relationship between me and their parents. So basically, it would be standard practice to only meet the parents when signing contracts. But this method builds too many misunderstandings between each other. If the parents are not able to talk freely about their children with us, then they will not be able to make the right choices. That is why I talk with them openly. We talked about this sort of things for hours on end at a time, right from the start. This is why I couldn't help but grow close to the members' mothers. I'm not only close to the members, but to their younger siblings siblings, older brothers, and more. This is why we have this sort of relationship. But what I know a lot of people are wondering about are the text messages that were leaked about her, of her talking about the NewJeans members in a negative light, where she was basically saying they were fat and so on. Here are some of the texts to refresh our memory. Just tell them to stay humble. Even if they get as fat as a pig, I'm making sure they gather popularity. If they pretend to be cool while saying impressive things but don't even greet me, I'll feel like I'll want to unalive them. What would they know? They just look in the mirror. They didn't get popular because they did well. Even saying, wow, redacted is so fat and ugly. So this was used to paint her in this fake light, that this authentic relationship she had with NewJeans was actually fake. But it seems that she just doesn't remember writing these things. I don't remember the messages. It's kind of so-so of them to open up text messages on Kakao Talk from 3 whole years ago. Honestly, when I saw the news, I even wondered, did I say that? I don't remember. So in terms of how we can move on from here, it does seem Hee Jin wants to reach a compromise with Hybe. She's said as much. Since there are still many things to resolve, I'm here to let you know about my future plans. I hope to reach a compromise with Hybe. Although we are in a dispute, I'm not sure who this is for. Aren't you tired of criticizing someone? We need to turn the tables again to see what is for the greater good for the sake of the business vision. I hope you can let go of the emotional parts and rethink this. I also think it's the humane thing to do. So I'd love to know what you think about that. Like, if you put yourself in a CEO position, would you forgive so easily? I remember thinking about this for the 50-50 situation. The CEO was like, just come back and I'll accept you back. I mean, of course, there is a contract in place as well, but I was like, wow, that like, how do you forgive so easily after what you think is a betrayal, right? Do you put your pride aside for the sake of just having things go back to normal? Or do you fight with everything you've got? So in terms of what Hybe is going to do, it seems they were clear from the beginning. And in fact, it's been reported that a representative from Hybe said the following. Now again, reported, take it with a grain of salt, even though it is in line with what they've said in the past. Hybe has no intention of compromising and intends to reach a conclusion through police investigations or related lawsuits. So if you remember, when Hee Jin won her injunction, Hybe said, you know, yeah, we accept the court's ruling, but that's not it. Like, we're still gonna take legal action here. Like, we can't fire you, but this was their statement to refresh our memories. Our company respects the court's decision regarding the provisional injunction lawsuit filed by CEO Hee Jin and will not exercise voting rights in favor of the dismissal of Inside Director Hee Jin at the upcoming extraordinary meeting of shareholders. But there's more. Furthermore, as the court has clearly stated in this decision that it is evident that Hee Jin sought ways to weaken Hybe's control over Ador and allow Hee Jin to control Ador independently by either taking NewJeans out of Hybe's control or pressuring Hybe to sell its shares in Ador, our company plans to proceed with subsequent steps with the boundaries set by the law. So the boundaries set by the law as of now is that you can't fire her from her position, but because they were betrayed, this is not going to be it. Now, NewJeans did have schedules while this was all going on, but she does say that everyone went crazy when the court ruled in her favor, and that if they didn't have a schedule, I'm sure we would have met. And actually, during the press conference itself, it seems that NewJeans were busy celebrating their first win for How Sweet on Music Bank, which had its own fair share of backlash. So during their acceptance speech, they do mention their CEO multiple times, which some people found quite endearing.
저희 대표님께 저희 대표님 사랑합니다.
So in their speech, they say, to our CEO and Ador staffs who helped us make this cool comeback possible, thank you so much. With Danielle adding on, once again, to our CEO, we love you so much. We really wanted to say thank you to our precious CEO. CEO, thank you. So of course we had some people thinking this was quite endearing. NewJeans, congrats, let's be happy, wow, congrats. A lot of people thinking the relationship is quite sweet. However, some people thought it was really awkward to bring her up multiple times, especially since Eunchae of Sserafim is an MC on the show. But an aspect that gained even more attention is the fact that Minji was doing her speech, saying her thank yous, and then there's a moment when Eunchae looks to the side to see if everyone is done.
네, 그럼 다시 한번 대표님께.
So she tries to move on from this moment, but at the same time that she tries to say something, Danielle starts her speech. This moment went viral online, basically pitting the two groups against each other. Because on one hand, you have people thinking that Eunchae is being so disrespectful for trying to cut off Danielle. Not only that, you can see her raise her eyebrows. But then on the other hand, you have people saying that it's exactly the opposite. Actually, it was really disrespectful for Danielle to cut off Eunchae and not only cut her off, but mention the CEO multiple times the same CEO that a lot of people attribute to contributing a lot to Sserafim's hate train. So we have some K-netizens thinking that international stans are making way too much of a fuss about this. Foreign K-pop fans are fighting over the smallest things. Initially, Danielle wasn't even looking at Eunchae and was just about to speak, but Eunchae unnecessarily interrupted. No, if anyone should be criticized, it should be Eunchae. Why are people hating on NewJeans? Why are their fans so pathetic? All this speculating about facial expressions is so effing cringe. What's wrong with them? Are they really K-pop fans? Interrupting while giving a speech is so common. It's surprising that this is even a controversy. Those people really have issues. Surprised there's no mention of eye roaches, but maybe next time. Now, I actually did make a short about this, so let's see what some of you guys have to say. No one disrespected anyone, just people want drama. This kind of incident happens a lot. I just think we should all get some sleep. Netizens, I bring all the drama, mama. If you watch the interview, Eunchae and Danielle were shaking hands. I won't be surprised if the next accusations will be ATs in the background or pumping them up. This is jobless activities. No one disrespected anyone. Danny was waiting for the audience to stop clapping before she started talking. People caused so much unnecessary problems, claiming Danny is a mean girl, a bully, calling her disgusting names. Leave this sweet girl alone. So on that note, there are different angles of what happened. In a fan cam, in a non-edited wide angle version of the whole situation, you can see Minji kind of go like this as if to gesture to someone else to speak, and it's unclear if she's gesturing towards Danielle or if she's gesturing towards Eunchae to be like, hey, we're done our speech. And then as Danielle continues on her speech, you also see Minji kind of go like this as if to tell Danielle to like cut the speech short. So there's so many different angles to this, but of course, let me know what you think in the comments. And I mean, the comments that we've read, a lot of people are saying that this is ridiculous, but like if you scroll on Twitter, it's really, you know, there are tweets with 15 million views implying that, you know, NewJeans are super rude, and other tweets with 10 million views that are implying that Eunchae is actually a mean girl. So I'm glad that we're mostly on the same page, but of course, you know, it is sad that it's gaining so much backlash. My honest thoughts, I mean, I don't think anyone would be saying anything if this weren't Sserafim and NewJeans. If it were literally any other group, it just wouldn't, right? Because it's so easy to think someone is done talking, and especially, I mean, you have to understand you're not face to face with people either. You're all in a straight line, so it's all pretty for the camera, and it's live and all that jazz. However, the immediate aftermath of the press conference seems to be the Hybe stocks are going up again. Now, of course, during the whole feud, stocks seem to have been going down. Now, listen, I don't know stocks. You don't know stocks. Stocks go up and down all the time, but it does seem that when something bad happens, like a scandal, that stocks go down. Then when something good happens, sometimes they go up, but sometimes they just go down for fun, so I've heard. But people are associating the rise in Hybe stock with Hee Jin, with her willingness to compromise. So following this news, stocks immediately soared. So around 2:47 p.m., 17 minutes after her press conference, it rose about 145 USD. If we see this fancy graphic, that definitely looks like an increase to me. I mean, let's look. Hybe stocks. I mean, I don't think red is good. But we'll see. Also, on this same day, people think that Minji wrote something on Phoning, the group's messaging app, that alludes to her support to Min Hee Jin's lawyer. So the group performed at Sejong University, and the name of Min Hee Jin's legal representation is Sejong as well. A fan basically wrote a message in support of their university performance. So we see this little space, right? So because of where Minji put the space here, people think it's in support. Cute, lol, this is freaking funny. The only one who can't laugh is probably Peng Ji-hyuk. Too cute, lol. See, this is the power of guts and guns. So that's basically where we're at with this whole thing. Let me know what you think of all of this. Where do you think it goes from here? Do you think things are going to slowly go back to normal? Do you think further legal proceedings are going to be kept a little bit more hush-hush, especially given the huge amount of support that I've seen for Min Hee Jin in comparison to Hybe? Let me know your predictions in the comments below. As for me, I'm going to get going. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!